ready for the speeches, so can I please have all your attention for the father of the bride?
So, well, I'm just going to say, I'm not using a microphone. If you can't hear anything, then wave or just drop off and I'll probably sense that you're not hearing it. So, just a couple of things. You may have seen as you came to the foyer a little notice about pictures. You've got a camera on each table, so please open those and snap each other and everybody else as you go along. Also, if you didn't notice, there's a post box, so if you've got cards or gifts or anything, please stuff them either in the post box or if they're too big, around the post box. Anything else on housekeeping? No.
I mean, there's little props for the photos, like
props.
there on the table.
If you want to look really silly, you can use a prop. It's not natural. So, welcome. And it's great to see so many of you here. So, as we said, my name's Chris, husband to Heather, proud father of Alice, and new father-in-law to Richard. If none of those names mean anything to you, you may just like to check that you're in the right place. Because believe it or not, we did have our wedding somewhere where there were two going on at the same time, and there was a bit of a mix-up in presents. Although 4 toasters is always very useful. So, Alice told me what I had to do in Alice's own way, which was basically to say a few thank yous, to say a little bit about Richard, and a lot about her, and to then raise a toast. So that's roughly what I'm going to do. It was 10 minutes on the dot at home, but drunk myself on the way here, told me that people place bets to see how close they get. So it was 10 minutes, but allowing for a bit of improvisation. I reckon anybody who goes around 11 minutes 20 is probably okay.
12 will be good.
Yeah. It says here. So, some thank yous. First of all, thank you to you all for coming. It wouldn't be the same without you, obviously. There's an old Swedish proverb, which roughly, I'm not doing it in Swedish, roughly translates as a joy shared is a joy doubled. So the more of you that are here today, the greater the special day it is for these two. So thanks for coming. We've come from, and I know they've already done this, but we've come from as near as Reading, and in fact we do come from farther than Nottingham, because Wendy, who is Alice's auntie, came from Switzerland. Say flown in specially. She went to watch Norwich versus Watford last week. And I was sneaking suspicion this might just be the add-on. Also, we've got, looking here, we've got our youngest guest is 4 weeks old. Yeah, over there, 4 weeks. And our oldest guest is here, is 102 and a half. If there's anything in the Guinness Book of Records about like biggest age range already. But if there isn't, there should be, and I reckon we can get it. So, thanks to Heather, because without Heather, Alice wouldn't be sitting here today, and I wouldn't be standing up next to her. And roughly 36 years ago, in a few months, 35. Heather did all the hard work while I sat in the corner. Alice was a little reluctant to come into the world, so it was quite hard work, but she's made the most of it ever since. I'd also like to thank Jane and Martin, because they've made financial, organisational and moral contributions to this happening today. But also have been so welcoming to Alice since we met 3.5 to 4.5 years ago, quite whenever it was. So, well, right, so what's next? So that's the thank yous. I'm also meant, this is why I hesitated, because I'm meant to welcome Richard into the family?
I'm already well.
Well, I thought, do you know, he started washing and drying his underpants at our house about 3.5 years ago. And I think that's probably about as well. Just in case, then, well.
Thank you.
So I've got some things here. It says intelligent, caring, creative, imaginative, funny, suave, debonair. That's just some of the words that Richard wrote and sent to me. That's what you can say about me. But I'm actually going to single out one thing, because the first time you see Richard, and some of you may have this experience, and turns up on your doorstep, he's pretty big. He's got a short sleeve shirt with all the tattoos on his shirt, and you think he looks well tough. And then he comes in, and when you see him blubbing his way through Lion King, each time, you realise that, you know, underneath that beats a heart of gold. And if I single out one thing about Richard, it's his kindness and care. And some of you know that Alice was very poorly last year. She didn't take it, I think, anywhere as seriously as Richard and we did. But the care and love and devotion that Richard showed her then went way beyond. So, thank you. I googled it, so it's a good idea to start with a joke. So I googled, and it said these are the top 30, not all 30, top 30 jokes for the father-in-law, the father of the bride. Right, this is number one. Don't get overexcited. So number one was, no matter what she's signed today, I hope I'll always be the most important man in her life. Exactly. So I read that to find something funny and couldn't. And I read it again saying, is there anything true in it? And I couldn't find that either. Because quite frankly, Richard, given what you did for Alice last year, I'm more than happy for you to now be number one in Alice's top man league. And as long as I stay dictating or thereabouts, graduating completely, that's fine by me. So, Alice. What can I say? I just want to say a few things about Alice, really. Alice was born on 5th September 1986, so it will be 36 later in the year. A North London girl, although she identified as a princess fairly early on. And if it was pink or glittery or sparkly, that was all she needed. And I don't know if you know this, she probably doesn't, or we might not be here. But in some parts of the world, it's legal to marry things as well as people. So there is a Mrs. Eiffel Tower. There's a Mrs. Santa Fe Station, which sounds even weirder. And earlier this year in Las Vegas, the wonderfully named Kitty K. Sarah, see what she did there, married the colour pink after what she described as a 40-year relationship. And you won't be able to see all these, Alice, will you can have a look later if you want. You see this is the paper. Well, I'll show you a picture later. But it's very pink, and I must admit some of us were concerned about the tie and the little pocket. If you see the pictures of the pink wedding, you'll realise that we've got it right. So Heather will produce the pink picture. Right, so a few bits about Alice growing up and how we got to be here today. Oh, so this is the pink wedding. And the pink outfits. Rings nice, yeah. So, Heather always kept a diary as a teenager, which I'm obviously not allowed to see, and also kept it going when we had all the children. So it's under lock and vault, but I was allowed to get a few quotes from it.
Break your way in.
No, I've got these somewhere else. So,
I'll show you what to pick a lot.
Alice, when she was about 2 or 3, you may not believe this if you've known Alice recently, but she was really quite shy and nervous, although with the occasional emotional. So in the diary, there's a few from when she was 2 or 3. Alice is asserting herself more now, which sometimes leads to crashes. She is still quite fearful. Her main fears are clowns, Gets better. Garfield the cat. For those who don't know, is sort of a comic strip character. Gets even broader now. Anyone dressed up as anything. Father Christmas was made filling her stocking on Christmas Eve quite challenging. And sun monkeys. I'm not sure what you had to do as a monkey to be okay. Fortunately, most of those have gone by the wayside to be replaced by spiders. And one of the reasons I'm so pleased that Richard, and I can see Kate smiling, one of the reasons I'm so pleased that Richard and Alice moved in together was that I was far less likely to be woken and have to drive around in my pyjamas to capture a spider on the stairs because Alice couldn't get up to their double. Kate is witness to that being a true story. Same thing. Alice has lots more tantrums than when she was 2. On Wednesday, she was in absolute hysterics about being asked to clean up her room and put away her dolls. So no change there. It sounds very familiar. But Alice has dreamed of a day like today for a long time. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? And there's a note here that says, again, 3 to 4, Alice loves Shepcott Playgroup and spends most of her time dressing up and getting married. This is 3. Now, Alice was also a bit of a child model. And if you around sort of 1987, 88, that's books called Toddler and Child or Parent. Well, here we've got Alice. Saving up for the wedding already. Thinking that'll all come along one day. So have a look at that later if you want.
It's so cute.
So what did we pay if you were saving all that time?
Yeah.
It was a child, I got child wages.
It's been going on for a few years now. Not there by now.
However, I have to say, I think she was far more focused on being a bride than having a group. That took a while to come along. So a few years later in her school book, she wrote, "My mum and dad kiss all the time. It makes me laugh. They do it inside, they do it outside, they do it everywhere. I think when I'm older, I will have to kiss a boy. But I hope I don't, because I think it's young." It's in capital letters with exclamation marks. However, she did sort of at one stage get into boys to the extent that we ran up a bill of £548 phoning one of them in France when he was on holiday, which took a few weeks of these child wages to pay off. But now, so we got to now, and the last couple of years has been challenging for all of us in some ways. Right? It's been even more so for Alice and Richard, with various rearrangements, not knowing what was happening. And in the middle of that, she had what I've already said, which was a very serious illness, a long hospital stay, big recovery, all of which she took in her stride. And there are lots of things that we're proud of with Alice. But one of the biggest things is that she just coped with that. She just gets on with it. She's very calm, she's very resilient, and she's pretty chilled and pretty relaxed about the whole thing. So you've inherited something from her dad. What else did you want to say about you? Oh yeah, how beautiful she looks. Well, you know, that's a bit obvious really, isn't it? You've only got to look. Do I need to say it?
Nope.
No. But, and I'm sorry to break this to you, the glamour will fade over time, not from your mother. But what's really important about Alice is she's beautiful inside. And if you're beautiful inside, that doesn't fade. And Alice always makes time and finds time for people who need a bit of help. And I know there are people in this room, and some who aren't here, who've benefited from Alice being either a helping hand or a shoulder to cry on. And that won't go away, however cold. So, beauty on the inside today. Sorry, beauty on the outside today. Beauty on the inside always has been and always will be. So we're coming to the end now. Checking your watches for time. There's a poem. This is not mine, don't panic. There's a bit of predictive text from Rosie, who wrote, if you ever get married, give me a ring, I'll be your bridesmaid. So that was what I call predictive text. And that was the last day of school, as they all left school, and there's a whole bunch of Alice's school friends here. This is the poem, which in our book is anonymous. So if anybody wants to claim this, just wave your hands in the air. There's nothing wrong with Alice. To us, she is perfection. She looks like a princess when she sees her reflection. Her soft brown hair with honey-kissed streaks. Everyone listens when Alice speaks. Her hazel eyes, her constant smile. Being with Alice makes life worthwhile. We're also lucky she's someone we've met. Alice is a friend we'll never forget. And I think that sums up what a lot of people feel about Alice because of what she's done for them. So I meant to offer advice. This is the final thing, advice. But I'm reluctant to do that. But what I have got is the book, Alice the Artist. Now, I used to read this to Alice in bed before she went to sleep. Probably not her favourite book, but it's my favourite book and I'm doing the speech. I'm not going to read the whole book, but what it is it's about a girl who gets a blank canvas, lots of paints, and decides to paint a picture. And one by one on each page, members of the family and friends come in and say things like, why don't you put a giraffe in it? And what about an aeroplane coming in the side? And what, no dinosaurs? And bit by bit, she ends up with a picture, which doesn't really mean anything and is a mess. And so she throws it away and gets a new blank canvas, and the last page of the book says, this time I'm going to do it my way. And that's all I'd say to both of you. You start today with a blank canvas. What you put into it is what you want. And if you're true to each other and true to yourselves, it doesn't really matter what other people say you should be like. Just do your own picture and make it special. And I'm going to finally finish with knowing that you are both big Gavin and Stacey fans. I thought I couldn't end without ripping off James Corden and asking you all to raise a toast to the bride and groom. And when you've next that, I'll hand over to Richard for, I just like the B movie. You look at your things, you've got the blockbusters.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm straight to the Thank you very much, Chris. Lovely, lovely speech, and you'll have to bear with me because the nerves are properly kicking in now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, based on what Chris said, yeah, welcome everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the Oakley Court here on the 6th of June 2020, no, wait, that's not right. 15th of August 20, no, that's not right. 29th of April 2021, no, that's wrong. So I've written this so many times. 16th of June 2022, there we go. Right. So yeah. April. That's what I meant, I'm sorry. But yeah, just going off the back of what Chris said, firstly I just want to say thank you to everybody that's come out today and helped us to celebrate this special day. It means so much. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, but we are here. And yeah, it's been a tough couple of years. Yeah, with COVID and everything, and with all the rebookings of this wedding, and we're just happy that we are now here on the day with everybody that we love. So thank you again for coming out for this today. And again, I just want to say another thank you as well to the Oakley Court team, the events team, that they've done absolutely fantastic job. So give them a round of applause. So, yeah, and another thing I want to say as well, which Chris did mention, but what you both, my parents and Alice's parents, have done to make this day possible. Without you guys, this wouldn't have been possible. So a massive, massive thank you. And I've just got one more thank you as well, and this is going to sound really corny, but when me and Alice first got together, when we first met, you know, it was pretty fast going, you know, off the bat, but since we've been together, just all of Alice's friends and family have been so welcoming to me, and yeah, it's just been, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's accepted me, and so I'm getting really emotional. I've never done this before. It's so crazy. Yeah, and to my groomsmen and all of the bridesmaids, you all look fantastic. You all look beautiful, and thank you to everybody who's made this day possible. So that thank you's out of the way, and there's you. Firstly, you look hideous. You look absolutely fantastic. When you walk down the aisle, I could not hold it back. You look amazing. And yeah, again, then I couldn't hold it back, but I'm trying to. So, yeah, we're getting into the comical section now, so hopefully. Yeah, Alice, yeah, there's not really, I mean, I could probably speak for a lot of people when I say, especially people here in the room, when you'll always remember that first time you realise you love someone. And for me, that day was the 29th of July 2017. I'm really sorry about that. The first time I met you in person. And a lot of you have probably heard this story, but our first date, and I'm not sure if this is common knowledge yet for some people, but our first date was only supposed to be a day trip to Woburn Safari Park. But it turned into a weekend away. So we went to Woburn Safari Park. Revolutionised day. We went to Woburn Safari Park. We also planned to go to Milton Keynes and stay at the MK Don Stadium, where we went for dinner at TGI's, and then we went to the cinema in the afternoon, and for lunch, or lunch then the cinema after that. And it was, at that time I didn't drive, so when she dropped me off at home, when I got out of the car, that was the moment that I realised that I love her and I'm going to marry her. So, I know, right? Yeah, Alice is definitely a one-of-a-kind person, not a bad bone in her body. Like Chris said, she's warm, caring, selfless. No matter how bad of a day I've had, I can always come home to Alice and it will just go away. You know, I'm a better person because of you. You're my rock. You are perfect. To me, you are perfect. But with perfection comes imperfections. Throughout our 5-year relationship, like any relationship, there have been ups and downs, good times, bad times, etc. Like when Alice did have to spend 2 weeks in the hospital with sepsis. It was hell on earth for the pair of us. Not being able to do anything, not being able to go there to be with her or anything like that during, you know, in the peak of the pandemic, not allowed to visit, and then I got a call to come and collect her from the hospital, you know, the massive relief. And that was when the real hell started. Alice was succumbed to a suction back in her back, so her regular ablutions were then put unto me. Particularly number 2s. I've seen things. You never realise how strong your relationship is until you watch your significant other's arse. Just leave that. And while we're on the subject of funny stories, another thing that sets your relationship is alcohol. There have been a couple of occasions on both of our parts where alcohol played a pivotal role. Like when Alice was filming me struggling to walk up the stairs whilst I was wasted eating ham. But yeah, we went down into that. That was just vodka. I'm just blaming vodka for that. But when it comes to mixing alcohol, let me take you back to Christmas last year. Hoopla Christmas party, 2021. Alice managed to mix about 5 or 6 different alcohols throughout the night. she seemed fine until we got home after eating the kebab, which she didn't want, and then she did want, and then she didn't want, and I sort of hoped she didn't want, but she carried on eating. It's about 2:30 in the morning. We're both pretty drunk. Well, I'm pretty drunk. She's. I wake up to some strange noises coming from the bathroom. Yeah, so I go to check, and where you think somebody made it to the toilet, they didn't. Our sink was full to the brim. Yeah, I know, right? This is just a very good example of stay classy, Henry. Yeah, Alice, bent over the sink, and she was just in a complete state. She promised me that she would clean it up. I went downstairs to just go and, sort myself out, because I was feeling a bit iffy. I cleaned it up, no worries. I come back upstairs, the bathroom light's still on, the sink's still full, Alice is snoring. I had to do Christmas shopping the next day. Alice said, I'll do it in the morning. I went out Christmas shopping, I was hungover to hell. I was out for about 4 hours, I come back and lovely Alice is laid on the sofa. Covered up, she's just there, smile on her face. Have you cleaned it up? No. I feel really ill. So I had to then ask Chris and Heather for a plunger and again, stay classy. But throughout that, those are just a couple of funny moments within our relationship. There have just been so many, too many to explain now. But life with you is just a roller coaster of just craziness, happiness, emotions, and if it's shiny and if it's pink, it's Alice. We love it. So, thank you for being my rock, my partner, my best bitch. I still love her now more than ever. You are the light of my life, and I love you so much. I'm excited to carry on my life with you as your husband. And that's all I can put down for you now. I just love you so much. And I'm so happy right now with everybody here sharing this day with us. So what I'm going to do is ask you all to raise your glasses, and we're just going to toast to Alice, because this is her day and she deserves it. So, to Alice. And without further ado, I'm now going to pass you on to Rebecca.
So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam and I'm Tricky's best man.
Oh, the tricky one.
So for those of you who don't know the most tricky, when I say tricky, I mean Richard. Even me, when I walked through the door, I said to Kelly, Richard and Alice, I we're in the wrong way. I literally just know it was tricky. So I've known Tricky for all my life, so I've done quite a bit together over the years, including losing my fourth part virginity with him. So he was always
that's promising.
Yeah, that's it, the close party. Where when we went, it happened to be pissing down the rain, thunderstorms, but he was still insisting that we went. So literally no clue, no cues at all. So this two sailors at the theme park on our own, queuing for the Stout, which went on about 4 times in a row. Where, safe to say, I won't need to go on that ride again. Also, we used to do plenty of cinema trips where we used to do Orange Wednesdays, 2 for 1, if anyone remembers them ones. 2 for 1. Watching every Marvel film that came out. When I say everyone, I mean literally everyone. He would just send me a link to a new trailer, fancy it, and I knew the next Wednesday we're going to the cinema. So we're from a place called Gosling Close back in Oxford. Where we grew up, but over the later years, everyone else started moving on with their lives, but me and Tricky, being the OGs we were still moved us to there still. So we used to have this little thing where we'd both be at home, even though we both lived like 5 houses apart. If we knew one another was in, we'd send a text say, fancy a beer? Well, Tricky did anyway. But being the OGs we are, we wouldn't go to the pub, we'd just have a couple of cans just still with us. So Martin and Jane, I do apologise if some of your fridge beer used to go missing. It was tricky. Yeah, it used to do tricky companies. Yeah. So we used to do rounds every time. So every time it was like, oh, you're round next week, you're round next week. So it's been a while since we've done a round. Yeah. So that being said, one last time. So.
Fancy again.
You're going to stand outside with it,
So, just a little background on Tricky. So, growing up, we always used to do a bit of MC and making music. Thinking we were the dog bollocks. So Emma, on that note, I do apologise. I think I remember you walking into Tricky's room making music, but he was the one with the Michael Jackson moves, not me. Which I'm sure we'll all see later on. Yeah, look at that. Alice, have you seen the Michael Jackson?
Yeah, he's attempted Michael Jackson.
Oh, no, well, from what I remember, he was pretty good. That was after 4 cats. So it all kind of faded out, the whole music thing, but Tricky was still very keen on making this music. So I brought something along just to show you all what you missed out on. And this album cover is legit. I mean, it's only a photo, don't all get excited. You're not
Tricky's relieved, not excited.
Yeah, you're not getting a blueprint, but so yeah, I brought something along just to show you what, and this was legit. It's supposed to be Tricky's album cover.
Amazing.
So I brought it along, so it was called A Few Tricks Up My Sleeve by Tricky. So yeah, if someone pass that on. So anyone who pre-orders that, it's not a
They never will.
So where was we? So yeah, other than that, with the music, just growing up, just basically me and Tricky used to just literally do everything together. And like I say, when everyone did move on, do their own things, it was just me and Tricky. And at one point I was like, is it going to be me and Tricky forever? And then I found my missus. Tricky found us, and I do remember the first day off, he was texting me when you went off, it was supposed to be to the zoo, he's like, it's turned into a weekend. I was like, fair play. He come back and he was like, yeah, I like this girl. I said, did you say you love this girl? He went, well, I like her. And then he was texting me out, yeah, I love her. But yeah, that's pretty much for me. I'm not really written down much because I was that nervous. I'm just generally happy for Tricky and everyone who's made it here today, like they touched up on it. I just want to thank everybody on the Half Friday for making it today. I know we've had 4 days, a few suit fittings, the measurements changed a few times.
Not for the better either.
Yeah, it was like, oh, are we keeping the same measurements? But it was like, no, we better go back again. Yeah, lockdown, measurements changed and everything. Alice, like everyone's touched upon, and like I said to you earlier, you generally look like a princess today, and all your bridesmaids. So yeah, I just want to raise a toast. Short and sweet to Mr. and Mrs. Freeman.
Wow, done, Andy.
Enjoy your meal with us. Have a good night.